protection. And thing on today is the advantages of encryption, some challenges and risks, the Enforcive solution, going to go through that for you, with the steps of implementation, also showing you the algorithms that are available and how our key management works. And then there's one screen on high availability. Okay, so the advantages of encryption. Of course, we're adding a layer of data protection, right? Authentication and authorization. It covers data integrity, confidentiality, and is part of audit requirements. And you see all the regulations here that do have parts that do require encryption. Some of the challenges are the compliance requirements have become increasingly more advanced, and you need to provide proof for the auditors, and it is difficult. Attackers are more likely to target keys instead of trying to break algorithms, so that is an area that we cover. And the big thing, though, with trying to implement encryption is to make those program changes and, the implementations, right? With our solution, we're providing those things that Robert said. Field encryption, which is, full-blown encryption. It does encrypt the data at rest, right, inside the files as it stands on the disk drives. We also, with that, can provide the information to, of course, the people that are authorized to see the real values, but then we can also mask the data for groups of people or scramble the data. And we'll get into what the difference is as we go along. We can also, as a separate facility, provide just masking, which is done on the fly. Okay, so what, the data in the files is not encrypted, but if you have a need, and this would be the, field level security aspect of it, right? So you have certain people in your organization, and you have an application, maybe that it's a package, right? You can't change, but there are certain fields on those screens that you don't want a certain group of people to see, or maybe only see a portion of the value. So that would be masking. We're able to do that. And then for numeric fields, we can scramble the data. So we're putting a algorithm over the calculation over the numeric value on the fly and showing the person the scrambled value. The last offering is a little bit different. It's for save file encryption. So if you do have save files, either that you're sending across, lines, transmitting them, from site to site, we can encrypt that data so that if it is intercepted, they would not be able to see it. And then also with save file encryption is even if you're putting it on tapes or a thumb drive and taking it, to a different site, if it is lost, it would be unusable by anyone without the keys. All right, so with our solution, no application changes. Okay, that's the big thing. No database changes. We're fitting, the encrypted values within the existing DDS, for the files. You're using our GUI, right? Our GUI interface to the setup, so it's very user-friendly. And we, of course, are leveraging the rest of our suite, and you'll see some of those settings when I do show the product. The allocation of the keys is done through the GUI. We do have a separation of duties so that you can have different people that set up the data keys. The field authorization is done using our account types. All right, not everybody knows our product, but we can give out the authority to those fields at a user ID level, a native group profile level, generic, which is just a wildcard for your user IDs, or a user group, which is something just contained within our package that you just put the users you want into a group. It doesn't create any user profiles on the system or group profiles, anything like that. It's all contained within our package. Of course, all the activity is logged for audit purposes in our package. And reporting, we have a report generator, so reports are easily generated for the auditors. We do provide commands, so if there was a need to do this encryption or even the save file encryption on the fly or inside of a program, we can do that. We have the commands ready for you to add to your CLs, let's say. Okay. Okay, so the question is why is it so easy? IBM with the new release OS V7R1 provided a new feature, really an old feature for IBM. It was already in the mainframe, but it's called FIELDPROC, and that is a field level exit program. So that when that field is, brought up on the screen, accessed, no matter which way it's accessed, that exit program will be called. So we're able to leverage that and create the encryption, very easily, and it's built in, right? So it's part of the OS. It's from IBM, right? So it's part of the OS, the database level. So performance, is good. It's not running, as an application program on top of everything. All right, and the big thing, no need for application changes or database changes. Okay, the algorithms that are available, you see them here. The most secure is the AES 256. The triple DES is still out there, not as good though, and it all started from the DES down here. So you see here, if you're looking for the best encryption, you're going to be up here, and then down from there. All right, AES is the best. This is the only one that has not been broken yet. Right? It's still unbreakable. It was developed, you see, by who, and it is the standard now. So we are using that. Okay, the key management is a two-tiered encryption. So there is a master key and a data key. The data key can be put on the I-series, right, as local, or that key can be put on another platform. All right, so you'll see within our package that you're able to put in, an IP address and a port and all that kind of stuff, so that you can put it out on a server if you want to implement that way. So two different locations and the two-tiered approach. The data key is broken up into 4 segments, and you can assign each segment to a different person to create that key. So you really could have 4 separate people putting together that key if you want to, go that route. All right. Using our account types, it makes it easy for the encryption and decryption of the data. This is the one slide I said about high availability. If you're using any software, when you replicate that data to another system, it will be encrypted, right? If you're doing the full-blown field encryption, that data is encrypted, so the remote system would need the keys as well. So, having that as a remote would be good, or you can, of course, have those keys locally on that other box as well. So you see here the backup database will be identical, so the keys need to be there as well. All right, there's really only 5 steps to implementing encryption, and I'm going to show you, of course, our screens as soon as I'm done with this PowerPoint here. You set up your keys first, right? You set up your data key administrators, who's going to do it. They even use our GUI interface to put in the keys. You configure what fields you want encrypted in every file, right, and what type of encryption and the algorithm and all of that. And then you set up the authorities to those fields, right? Who has access to see the unencrypted data, and for the people that are seeing it encrypted, how are they seeing it? Are they seeing just encrypted, which is really they're not seeing anything, or do you want to see a portion of it with masking, or do you want it scrambled up? Okay, and then you're just really starting encryption for that file, and then at that point everything is in place, and any additions, deletions, changes are all in effect under encryption. Okay, I believe. Yeah, that's the last slide. So what I'm going to do now is go into the product within our GUI. Yeah, and I just want to say for sure that there is a survey at the end. So if you do have, we're asking for your information, of course, to make the presentation better, as well as answering any questions if you want to go through the questionnaire at the end. Okay. So now, going into our GUI, this is our GUI, okay? For the people that haven't seen our product, this is a GUI interface. All of the data is stored on the I-series. I'm managing here, what am I up to? 1, 2, 5 I-series. I'm connected to our box in Florida, near Robert there. And here are all of our modules. All right, I'm not going to go over all of them, but it's a very nice interface, user-friendly, intuitive. We do cover, other platforms. We do have a cross CPA product, cross-platform audit product that consolidates logs from all the different platforms. So if that's something you're looking for, you can definitely speak with Robert about that as well. All right, so going into the encryption module here, we want to set up, right, those keys and everything. So just to make it easy, we do have a settings screen, global settings. And this is where you want to store the key information. There's certain objects, of course, that are needed. So this will be the default library for that. This is also where you're setting up for that remote data key, the IP address and the port. Okay? So you do that on the global settings screen. Then you're in the master key. All right? You're going to be setting up your master key. All right? Giving it a name and a description. There's validation lists and that's where those objects go from the default library there. And then you can put in your master key, right? As the administrator, you'd be setting up the master key. You can make it random, so even that the administrator doesn't know what it is. So that's available at the master key level. Once you have a master key, you're able to then start setting up for the data keys. Okay, so giving it a name and a description, connecting it to the master key, giving that, if it's going to be local, the validation name and the library again. This would be also where you could set up for that remote key. Okay? So as the administrator, you're going to set this up, and then you're going to have in mind how you're going to set up the 4 segments of the key. Okay? So in our example here, we only have one person that's going to set up all 4 segments. Okay? You'll see that in a second. But these are the 4 areas. Once they're filled in by the the person that's setting the different segments, you'll get this checkbox in here as the administrator to know that it's been set up. So then at that point you can encrypt. All right, so that's part of it as well. And if you didn't want to have another person or 4 different people put in the different segments, you can make this random as well, so that the administrator is really setting up both. So what you're seeing about the keys, right, the master key and the data key, is that you can have many master keys and many data keys connected to those master keys. So it's really up to you. It's flexible, right? You can have one master key and only one data key for every field and every file in your system. Or you may want to break it up. You may have 2 different applications, right, 2 different areas of responsibility. So you'd set up, maybe 2 master keys and then 2 data keys, 1 data key for each one of those, and have different people responsible for putting in the segment. Okay? Once you have your data key, you would then be setting up who is going to be putting in those different segments. Okay, so that's the data key authorization section. I picked one person, as I said. They're responsible for this data key. And as you see, they all have yes in it. So he's doing all 4 segments. You could do, 1 each, 2 each, 1 and 3 for this person, 2 and 4 for the other person, whatever you want to do. So again, we're making it very flexible. Okay, so now I picked this person here as the data key administrator. But now, okay, well, how does he do that? How does he put in the segments? Okay, you're still going to use our GUI, right? So our GUI can be put on anybody's desktop. It does get installed. So here I have another session going of our GUI, and I signed in as that person. Okay, so now how does that happen? That only now one module is shown. Where over here I have all the modules, right? So let me go back and show you that. So in our ES administration roles, this is where you're setting up security as the administrator, right, of our package, who has access to the modules. And in this case, this person is set up as a restricted security officer, which means I can pick and choose what modules they have access to. Okay? So in this case, I'm giving access to the encryption module, only in display mode, and I'm giving access to the data key manager in display and change mode, right? So if I bring up the screen, only display and change, right? We don't want them to be able to add or delete or execute anything on there. They only need those 2. Okay? And anybody that's a supervisor has rights to all. And then we have some preset roles that allow the people into certain modules, but the restricted one is where you pick and choose what they have. Okay? So let me just go back to encryption on this screen and pop back to that screen. So now the person signs on, they only have one module, they don't even know what the other modules are within the suite. Everything is in display mode. They could see what fields are encrypted and everything, but they're not able to do anything with that. They do have rights to go into the data key, and here they can go to the properties. Okay, so this is where they put in the keys and hit apply. You know, if they wanted it to be random, they have that option. And you know, that's how simple it is. So if they only had rights to 1 and 3, these other 2 would not be input capable, and the other person would have to put in those 2 segments. Okay. So I hope you're seeing that it's very simple to do, very easy using the point and click of our GUI. Let's not close. Okay. So now I've set up the master key, data key, and the authorization. The keys have been set. So now I'm going in for field encryption, and I'm going to set up some encrypted fields. Okay. So what I have here is a file. It's a credit card file, let's say. It's within this library. And we have 3 fields that we're going to be encrypting. All right, so the first one here is the credit card number. So let's just take a look at that. Okay, so by setting this up, I'm setting up what field, right? I can put a description. I'm connecting it to that file. Once I connect it, then I have access to the fields within the file. Okay. So here you're seeing, and I want to show you this, we can encrypt any type of field. So this one is a packed field, 16 in length. It's holding the credit card number. Okay? So here I'm saying what data key it's connected to, and I could pick the algorithm for it. Okay, so this is one that's, of course, already created, but those are the fields that you would be filling in. Second field is the credit card type. Okay, so this is a character field. This is going to hold, an abbreviation for MasterCard, Visa, Diners Club, whatever it might be, would be in this field. Setting it up the same way. Since this is field leveling, I'm getting a question here. I think it does apply. So let me see. Is there any way to encrypt files such as PDF files on the IFS? Yeah. Right now, the encryption we're talking about is for externally described files, not within the IFS, right? So this is regular, DB2 files with a DDS for them. That's the requirement. Okay. Hopefully, you have those, that scenario as well. You are asking, about PDF files on your IFS. Okay. So this is the credit card type field. And then the last one is the security code within the card. This one's a zone 3. Okay, so another type of field on the iSeries. We're doing the same keys. Okay. Now the next thing, or you could have been doing one at a time. As you set up how you want to encrypt, you want to set up the authorization of that field. So that's done down here at the bottom. In this case, we're utilizing one of our account types called user group. Okay, so let me show you what that's all about so it makes sense. You know, I know some of you are not customers of ours already. So within our application access control module, and it's in some of the other modules as well, but you know, it's easy for me to come here, is the second icon here, which is the user group manager. So this is where you can set up that group, right? You do an ad, give it a name and a description. So I'm going to go to the one that we're referencing. Give it a name and description, and then just take those users on your system that you want them to see the unencrypted data. Okay, so that's this list here. All right, and you're seeing my one ID is on the unencrypted list. Okay, so you know that's one of our types. If you look here, our other account types, we can go by user ID, right? Each individual person, if you want. We can work with native group profiles. So if you have that set up on your system, we can utilize that. Generic is here, not filled out. Here's the icon to set it up. It's just a wildcard. So if you have a naming convention, you know, let's say BC, then we'll put an asterisk, right, for wildcard. Anybody that starts with BC for British Columbia, let's say, anybody that's from there, that would be the people either authorized or not authorized, and then the user groups. Okay? So back to encryption. Here's the setup. So I'm saying I want to use that user group, but this is where you pick which one you want to use. And then how do you want to authorize? So this one, we're giving the full control, right? So I want to see the unencrypted field for anybody in this group. Okay? Now, you see there's nothing else underneath it, right? No other authorization. So that means everybody else sees the field encrypted. Okay? And the encryption on the iSeries is you're really not going to see anything. It's just going to be a blank field. Okay, so it's not putting crazy characters or anything like that. The iSeries implementation is that it's really putting zeros in numeric fields and blanks and character fields. All right, so that's the setup for that one. But we did something different here for the credit card type. We still have that same group that has full control, but now we've added the user ID, star all, and why we did that is we want to show X's in the credit card type field. So we want to show the people all X's, all right, in this case. You have the option to put a question mark as any of those 10 characters, and then it will show the real value in that slot. Okay? Doesn't really kind of make sense, right, for the credit card type, but we'll have a different one later. You'll see that we are using a portion of it. And it, you know, it's saying here if it's a numeric field, you got to put numbers as part of the mask. If it's alphabetic, it could be any character. Okay? So that's the setup of the credit card type field. And then the security code, again, we don't want to really show any information on that. So this was numeric, you remember. So I'm putting 9s in there. So it's always going to be 3 9. All right? But you still do have the flexibility if you want. All right? So even though I'm doing the masking, if someone that was not authorized went to the database, they would see it with the mask, okay? And really the field is encrypted because we're in the field encryption section. Another question came in, it does apply. How would you mask a numeric field to show just the last 4 digits like the Social Security number? I have an example of that. It's going to come up just in the on the fly. So you'll see it there, but it's really just putting that question mark at the end for the last, 4 digits in your example. Everything else would be the 9s or whatever you want to put. If it's a numeric field, you're going to have to put 0s or through 9 in the other characters, right, other slots of that numeric field. But if you put question mark, it will show the real value. Okay? All right, so I showed you all three. Now I'm going to show it how it looks on the I-series. Okay? So let me bring up a session here of our system, and I got another one over here. So here, if I do display job, you see 02. Okay, so that's not an authorized person. And this one is the 01. Right? So this person is authorized. So green is authorized, blue is not authorized. All right, so I'm going to, of course, I have it all set up here so I don't have to retype it. I'm going to show the file. I'm just using update data. Okay, I'm going to also do run query. But this would apply to any tool you have, any command, display, physical file member, or of course any application. So if you're going into your ERP system and displaying a master, file record, it all still applies because it's at the database level, right? So here is our first record. This is the only one I'm going to show, like, one record at a time. But this is the credit card number. Okay, here's the type, and here's the security code. Okay, so now going to that same record. You don't see anything in the credit card number. The type is X's, and there's 9s in the security code. Okay. So if I just get out of this, just to show you all the records, there's not that many records in there. Let me tab over. Oh, too far. Column 110. All right, here's the type, credit card number, security code. All right, if I look at it from the authorized person, messed that up. All right, here's the types, credit card numbers, security codes. Okay, so that's that example. All right, and that's the full field encryption. So data at rest is encrypted. All right, the next one I'm going to show you is the field masking. Right, so this is only on the fly. So this would be a really good way, easy way to help out the the software development group, especially if you don't have one, that you have an application, two different groups of people use that screen, but really one shouldn't see all the fields on the screen, right? Only the manager is supposed to see it, and the clerks, don't see Social Security numbers or only see a portion of the Social Security number. It's that kind of thing. So you don't have to make any application changes. You just set it up for on the fly if you don't, you don't want the encryption, and we'll do all the work for you. So same menu, same menu option, but because of our field masking in place, certain people will see it unmasked, and the others will see it masked. Okay, so here we have a different file. All right, so this is more of an HR file. So we have well, let's go to this one first. Social Security number. So for the person that asked about Social Security, here we go, and also a pay grade. Okay, so Social Security number in this case is a packed 9. So just like you said, it is a numeric field. The pay grade is a character field, and we're kind of using 3 digits. The first digit is, let's say, if the person's exempt or non-exempt, and then the last 2 digits is the pay grade, a number. So maybe we want to show the person the exempt, non-exempt, but not the pay grade, so they wouldn't know what level the person is. Okay, so that's how we're going to set up the masking. So Social Security number first. Again, we're still using that same group. It doesn't have to be, right? You can create a new group of people, no problem. You're just going to create a different group and put it in here. And then users all. And the masking that I want is zeros. And that works real well if it's a numeric field, right? So it's going to be 0 suppressed. And then we're showing the last 4 digits. Okay, just what you were asking for. And this can be done, of course, in the full-blown encryption as well. I just want to show it to you here. All right, so that's the Social Security number. And now the pay grade, same thing for full. And then here, we're doing the question mark in the front, meaning show that digit, but then don't show the last 2. Okay, just put a pound sign. Okay, so that's that one. All right, so let's jump to the I series. And what am I doing there? Okay, so this is that HR file. And there we go. So here's the Social Security number. Okay. Here's the pay grade. All right, so let's say A is exempt, B is non-exempt. So you have that. And then you have some sort of number, there's a number and a letter, I guess, for the pay grade. Okay, so yeah, we have salaries for the exempt, and then hourly is the non-exempt. Okay, so that's that. Now we look at that same file for the person that's not authorized. And now you're only seeing the last 4 digits, right? 0 suppress. Of course, the I series is putting that comma, so it wouldn't be like that on your screen. And then here with the pay grade, you're seeing the A or the B, and then the pound sign for the rest of the digits. Okay. So really easy, and that's only being done, on the screen, and it's really any screen, and also printers, of course. All right, so don't think if you print it, it's going to show it. Same thing, it's reading it from the database, and wherever the output is, the job will change it. Okay, so that's field masking. Now the field scrambling, I only have 1 field. This is more of let's say it's an order header file. We have a customer order number, so their order number. Maybe we don't want to show that to everyone. Okay. Now scrambling, as I said, is over a numeric field, and what you're doing is you put in a formula. All right, so we have all the operators and then a place for a number. So this is going to multiply the number by 2, and then take the digits and line it up according to this setup. So if the numbers are 1, it's going to become a 6. If the numbers are 2, it's going to become a 5. All right, so you can change this to whatever you want it to be. You can go, 0 through 9, or any combination. You see here, I started at 6, and I'm all over the place. All right, and then even with that, you can even show the real value if you wanted to. I don't think you really do, but so I just put the S for all the scrambled number. I want to see it here. Now, I've gotten some questions that if you multiply by 2, maybe that makes it bigger than the value of the field. and that's okay, right? This is only scrambling, right? It's only for showing it on the screen. So we're going to, anything that's more than the size of the field, we're just cutting it off, okay? So, scrambling, I see this more being used in, let's say, a QA environment, right? That you want to bring down real data from production. You have the QA people, the programmers, want good data, especially to see if the screens are working correctly and the printouts, right? But you don't want to give out the real information on certain fields. So scrambling would be a better option than, let's say, the masking, where you're really just putting the same X's, throughout the whole field or whatever. Okay, so it's just two different options. You use it as you like. So that's what we're going to do with this field. All right, and for the authorization, we are showing the scrambled field. Okay, so that's what you're seeing. So let's jump back to the iSeries and get the last file here. Okay, so here's the customer order number. All right, this is what's really in the file. All right, and I made a record here, you see, with a 1 to make it nice and easy for the calculation so we can see it work. Okay, so I'm putting a 1 in there, right? So keep that in mind. When we get over here, we're going to see what that 1 becomes. Did anybody see already what's going to come up? All right, it's a 5. Okay, so let's see if that works. Okay, so a 1 became a 5. So let's go back here and go to the properties, and now we're going to take that 1 and multiply it by 2. So that becomes a 2, right? 2 becomes a 5, and that's what we got. Okay, simple example. I just wanted to show you, that's how it does it. Okay, so that's the field scrambling. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you before going to the save file encryption is that this information is audited, right? I said it was. So in our central audit here, it's a place for many different types of transactions. I'm in here under maintenance, and that's where this is going to show up. We have, and there's many different types of maintenances. But here, if I pick, end field encryption, right, field scrambling, and the save file, and then start is in here too. You don't want that one. Okay, so if I just go for those, that's what you're seeing here. So here, for example, is what one of the things would look like. This is the save file one. Okay, so it's telling you this is an end of a save file encryption, date, time, person that did it. You get all of that information. I don't even have to go back to the previous screen if I just want to roll through these and take a look. All right, so I'm starting encryption there. What else do I got here? Yeah, there's a lot of save file. Let me pick one that's different. Here's a field scrambling. All right, date, time, different person. Somebody used QSEC offer for this one, and started the process of field scrambling. Okay, so full auditing of the process. All right, so back to encryption, and here the last one is that save file encryption, right? So in this case, I want to show you the file before we encrypt it, the save file. So let's jump to the iSeries. All right, I got to go to the one that's authorized, right? So here, what do we got? Here's the save file, regular save file, right? Everybody knows what a save file is on the I-series. You do the save object command, you create the save file, and then you can put objects in that save file, right? So in this case, I put those 3 files that we just worked with, all right? So we're saving those off. So when it's unencrypted, I see the name of the file, I see the size, I know if there's data in it or not. So this is what we're going to be encrypting. Let me see if I can, yeah. So just to show you the properties before doing it, you know, well, here, if I started encryption, it would use these values. Okay, I'm going to use a command, right, to show you the commands are out there too. But all you're doing is setting up the save file library and the name, and then you can set up a default here that you say, okay, I want to do it this way, and I can start it right from here. The view log takes you right to the central order for that particular file, so you have that capability. But in this case, I'm going to go back to the green screen, and I have the command. Here's the start. Let me prompt it for you. So, you know, this is what you'd put into your CL, right? So here's the name of the save file, the name of the library, what data key, and then what algorithm you want to use. So you have access to all of them. So if you wanted it to be different than what's on the screen, that's fine. You know, it's going to encrypt it at that time. As long as you have the right data key, you're good. All right, so I'm going to run that and now go back to the save file. And now this is what you're seeing. So you're not even seeing the library that they came from. You get these 2 things, output 1 and 2, which doesn't help you. It doesn't tell you anything. And, you know, you do get the size stuff, but that's the size of these 2 files, not the size of the 3 files that we had before. Okay? So now if you say, you know, put this on tape, you know, on a thumb drive, you know, you downloaded it, or, you know, whatever, put it on your PC, it's encrypted, and they're not going to be able to decipher it. All right. So if I do, I'm sorry, one second. Go back here. If I do go back in and run the end command for the encryption, all right, on that we only need the name of the save file in the library, and then go back. Everything's back the way it was. Okay. So really simple, but you know, I think there is some use for this. When you do, if you are sending files across your communication lines, and it's unencrypted line, right? If you have that, you can use this and send it across. Or if you're really, you know, traveling with it and you want it in hand. Okay. We're coming towards the end of our webinar. If there are questions, please start posting them there. And I'm just looking at my list to make sure I covered everything. I believe I did. So let's see if there's any questions. Robert, if you want to take a look at those questions, see if there's anything that applies. I do see some questions about you know, pricing and that, so that would be for you.
Yeah, we would take pricing questions offline, and as well as those people who want to install it for an evaluation. You know, you're more than welcome to do so, and we'll follow up with you then.
Yeah, I saw that one out there too. Any other questions?
Not that I see of.
Okay. Let me just bring up the, I don't think I really have anything else in there, right? So the last thing was just saying thank you, and hopefully this was an informative webinar for you, and there will be a survey at the end, and hopefully Robert can help you guys get the product and install it, and hopefully help you comply with those regulations that you're looking to solve. Robert?
Thank you for your time, Richard. You did a great demonstration. Thank you for your time, everyone, and let us know if you have any questions. Take care.
Goodbye.